Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Shop 27. I'm your host, Jermaine Colter. And in the middle of my co-host, Kevin Johnson, KJ. And to my far right, today, we have special guests, former Clemson men's basketball.
That's right.
Former Cleveland Cavaliers. Former LA
Putting
Clippers.
in work.
Former Miami Heat power forward from South Carolina.
Come on, Jermaine.
Jamison, what's going on?
Yeah, what's up, baby?
Man, nothing much, man. Glad to be on the show. Thank y'all for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Ain't no problem, man. And we glad to have you on the show, man. Let the people know where you from originally and a little bit about your background.
Well, like you stated, I'm originally from South Carolina, a small town called Van. Went to Holly Hill Roberts that no longer exists, but it'll forever exist in my eyes and my heart. And to those people that went there, I know, they really appreciate the times that I came through, and some other guys that came through there as well.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Cool. So let the people know how you started out playing sports and what were some of your influences, man?
Yeah. I started playing when I was about 9 years old, but believe it or not, baseball was my first love.
Okay.
Yeah. So baseball was the first sport I ever played. First baseman. I was
first base?
a little bit, but first base was my spot, man.
Okay.
And then as I got older, basketball caught my attention. But even before that, football caught my attention. Football was my true love. I recruited heavily football at DN. And probably wasn't until maybe high school that I really took an interest in basketball.
Wow.
On the AAU circuit with George Glenn. I know everybody in South Carolina knows who that is. And he actually gave me my first start, or he actually kind of helped put me on the map.
Okay, cool. So you started playing basketball really in what, high school? You didn't play middle school or rec league?
No rec league.
Wow.
I started about 8th or 9th grade.
So you hit a growth spurt during that period. Crazy.
Yeah. I was a late bloomer, man, but just like anything else, when you love something, you just don't stop working at it. You put in the work, you put in the time, and just watch how it pays off for you.
Cool, man. So talk about some of those days playing ball. Go ahead, KJ.
Yeah, so what position you was playing then? Was you playing power forward, or did you point guard or what?
Point guard definitely wasn't in the skill set. Even though I could handle it, but in high school I played mostly center, power forward. That was my main position.
Okay, that's what's up.
Okay,
down
cool.
there with the big boys.
Yeah. Gotta bang, baby.
Gotta bang. Yeah.
So did you miss football when you made that transition playing basketball?
I did, and I actually contemplated playing football up until my senior year of high school. I got selected to the Shrine Bowl, and I passed it up and told the coach to choose someone else because at that point in time, I knew I was going to Clemson on a basketball scholarship. So I reached out and told him that, someone else could better use that spotlight.
That's big, man.
That's very unselfish. You don't get that a lot back in those days.
Yeah.
Nah.
It was
take that and run with that.
Yeah, you got you had some people, Charlie Wards, played both sports, football, basketball. You had a couple of those guys, But I was going to ask you, man, talk about playing in those high school tournaments in AAU and some of your teammates and some of the people you had to play against. I know you had to play against Orangeburg Wilkinson in the Christmas tournament during those days. You can also talk about, the atmosphere of that as well.
Man, I mean, high school was probably some of the best years I had, just because of the process. But when you talk about local schools, I think that we had developed a reputation that whenever you played High Hill Robbins, like you was in fucking like not because we were just talented, but we were just hardworking and we was going to get after it, man. And OW, Orangeburg Wilkinson, was one of those 4A schools, and Holly Hill was small 3A school, barely 3A, and barely, bigger city, more talent, but those were some good games, man. I really look forward to playing against bigger schools.
Better competition.
In the back of my mind, I knew exactly better competition, and I knew that was just enhanced what I was trying to do and what I was trying. So I played against, the more I learned, and the more I made a name for myself.
Great.
So who was the coach at the time? Who was your head coach? What'd you think about him? Like, you enjoyed playing with him?
As a matter of fact, my head coach is the head coach at OW right now.
Oh, that's
Willie Thomas.
Okay. Shout out to Coach Thomas.
As a matter of fact,
nice.
I spoke to him about a month ago. When he came to Holly Hill, I think I was in my senior year.
Okay.
And the things that he did, the development that he helped me with, I really appreciated him for that, because even though I played down low, he challenged me to do other things, especially during the game. He didn't just tell me to go to the block and stay there. He challenged me to do things, put the ball on the floor.
Yeah.
One dribble moves back then was real big. Just getting to the basket, because that was my strength. But he challenged me on all levels, man. And more so than anything, he challenged me to get my behind in shape, because coming from that football field at 300 pounds, it's a totally different type of shape, man. And and the style that he played, I mean, we picked up full court. We just pressed the heck out of people and came at you, and I had to keep up. So I mean, he pushed me way beyond what I thought my limits were.
Wow. So what's your advice for an athlete that's played two sports and trying to, make sure they keep that endurance, make sure they're flexible for different sports? What's your advice?
Well,
good question.
First of all, here's the thing. I think that the sports that I played, basketball and football, they helped me with the other. One helped me with the other. The strength, the toughness, helped me in basketball playing down low, and the speed, the quickness that I have to have on the court helped me on the football field. But anybody that's playing two sports, I would tell them, if those are two sports that you're gonna play, just give it your all, man. When you're out there on the field, when you're out there on the court, or whatever sport it may be, just give it your all. Don't just go through the motions, because the time that you put in is really gonna show. It's really gonna show, and you can't cheat the process. If you're not having results, then that means that you're really not putting in work. You just basically putting in time.
Yeah, going through the motions.
Yep.
So you was highly recruited. You had a lot of teams, a lot of colleges looking for you, football and basketball. Talk about some of your visits, some of the schools that was interested in you your senior year before you decided to go to Clemson, and why you chose Clemson over all the schools that you were offered.
Oh yeah, that's big.
The recruiting process for me, man, started to get a little overwhelming. Um, and believe it or not, I didn't take any official visits. Um, I only had two schools um, to actually come into my home, and they were both South Carolina schools, USC and Clemson.
Okay.
I mean, I had schools all across the country that were trying to offer me scholarships without even taking official visits. And it wasn't pressure, but I think that was around the time I decided to just focus on one. Um, I enjoyed the process. I took it in because during that process, I realized how far I had came in just 3 years. Because my freshman year in high school, I wasn't even on the map. So in 3 years, I go from not being on the map to being highly recruited in two sports nationally. And, for me, that was just a testament of the work I had put in and the determination that I had, to get to the next level. So I would tell any athlete, listen, enjoy the process, but stay focused on what it is that you're trying to do. Because, everything looks good, it sounds good.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, in your heart, what it is that you want and what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Pick a school that's going to help you accomplish that. Pick a sport that's going to maximize, your talent, what it is that you bring to the table.
Exactly. So you ended up at Clemson, went on your visit, you accepted that. At the time, I can't remember who was the head coach for the Gamecocks.
Eddie Fogler.
Eddie Fuller?
Eddie
Correct.
Fogler.
Eddie Fogler, I'm sorry. And I know you went there to visit. Why you chose Clemson over USC?
There was a couple of reasons. I felt like the coaching staff as a whole, uh, based on what they were offering me and based on what I saw the previous year, I felt like the biggest thing for me was development because of the fact that I had started so late. I was just raw, um, just a workaholic. But I felt like they could enhance what I had, and they constantly, not to the point where it was aggravating, but they constantly stayed in touch, uh, and they made it seem as though they needed me more so than wanted me. And that's another thing that I would tell athletes, go where you need it, not where you want it, because just like they want you, they want other people as well. And at the time, Clemson was rebuilding. They had a new coach that was in his second year, Rick Barnes. Big shout out to him. And they were in a rebuilding phase. Um, didn't have a lot of players or hardly any at my position, and that was a big key for me as well.
Great, man.
Yeah. So how was it playing for the ACC tournaments at the time?
Oh man, ACC tournaments. I mean, the ACC. That was another thing as well. The exposure. Going to an ACC school. I mean, regardless of where you were ranked or where you were playing, ACC was the best basketball conference in the land, hands down, flat out crushing it at the time. And that class of '95, I don't know if you all remember, but people like KG, if you didn't go to the league, was either going to come to USC or Clemson, which is one of his top schools. You had talents like Ron Mercer, Stephon Marbury came out that year. And then North Carolina, I mean, they had Antoine Vince, Maryland was loaded. You know, they had Key Booth, Joe Smith, X-Ray Hip, LaRon Prophet. Georgia Tech had Matt Harper, Eddie Lisma. I mean, it was stacked from top to bottom, man. So
You forgot about Tim Duncan.
Man, listen.
Yeah.
Tim
All
Duncan,
time.
Tony Rutland, Wake Forest was stacked.
Vince Carter.
Yeah. When we went in to play against Tim Duncan and Wake Forest, Duke was stacked. I mean, they had just brought in a whole bunch of young talent that following year with Corey Maggette, Elton Brand, Sam Avery. They had Jeff Capel my first year. I mean, they were freaking loaded, man. And Virginia.
There was no weak links in the ACC at that time, bro.
Say that again?
If you think about it, everybody had at least 3 or 4 players that went to the league on their starting 5.
Exactly. And even Virginia, you know, they had Curtis Staples, they had Harold Dean, they had Noam Nolan, Jamal Robinson. I mean, all those guys got stints in the league as well. So, like I said, from top to bottom, it was crazy. But the ACC tournaments was just another level. You know, you hear me mention all the players that played there, but the ACC tournament was like 10 times better than the regular season. And one of my most memorable times at Clemson was when we beat North Carolina in the ACC tournament. You know, and I was just a freshman. And for me, that was like get back because that was probably one of the ACC schools that really did recruit me. And, I was a Tar Heel fan, man. And
everybody from this area was, you know.
Hey,
but I want to pause real quick because I got a surprise for you, okay?
Well, go ahead, Jermaine. Go ahead.
Since you brought it up.
7 seconds. McIntyre working right side. Lofts it off to Jamison. Underneath, Buckner jams! Buckner jams! 0.6 of a second left. Tigers are on top, 75-73.
They're going to trap. Try to get the little fellow to cough it up. To win it. .6 seconds still on the clock. With .6 seconds, Carolina still has a chance. They've got to go the length of the floor. Dean Smith has planned this one. Here's a look at the game-winning, or what appears to be the game-winning play, down underneath to Greg Buckner, who's been hanging on that rim all night long. Terrell McIntyre, all 5'9", hits Jamison in the high post, and the dump down the ball doesn't hit the floor. Absolutely perfect execution by the rookies. Rookies all around to Buckner. The senior statesman, the sophomore, gets the finish. Carolina quickly calls the timeout. Jamison, boy, he had a white shirts all around him. Kept his look at Harold Jamison and his reaction to the play.
That's what I'm talking
Yes,
about.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That was a nice pass.
Yeah.
Man. He was in traffic. I was like, oh, look at him.
Good times.
Now,
man.
take
Good
us through
times.
that moment. What was you feeling when that ball came down low? Were you going to shoot it, pass it? What you was thinking?
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck was out of my chest. So that's for sure. I caught the ball and I just saw like 3 people coming at me, so I figured someone had to been open on the other side of the court. I just looked at the corner of my eye and I just tossed it to Buckner, man. It was I was praying as I passed it. I was like, please let this ball get there, because I know I didn't have a lot of time. And as a matter of fact, Rick Barnes drew the play up, And in the huddle, I'm like, you want me to get the ball right now? Like, nah, oh, nah. But it actually worked out exactly how he drew it up. And when they collapsed at double team or triple team, I just spotted the open guy out of the corner of my eye, and Buckner was right there, just like he drew it up, man. So it was a perfect play, great time. I was just praying that ball got to him in time, man.
Yeah, for sure.
It looked like it could have been tipped, right? I know you have about 6 hands up in front of you, and all of them over 6'7".
Listen, I just saw people coming from all types of angles. I was like, just give me a little daylight. Just give me a little daylight. Give me enough just to get the ball through, you know. Yeah. And he was the closest, and you know, they had to play the guy in the corner, so I think Antoine was playing in between. So I'm like, if he get there, it's got to be at least a foul. But you know, Buckner had great hops for a guard his size, and you know, he just caught it and went up strong, man. I was like, that was my career right there.
Yeah, I had good chemistry, man.
Yeah,
so,
great chemistry.
Let's backtrack a little bit and talk about after you got to Clemson. Who was the guy that took you under their wing?
Coach or player wise?
Both.
I connected with my point guard, of course, Terrell McIntyre, but Merle Cole kind of took me under his wings and, you know, helped me get through that process, because back then it was tough, man. You know, the practices coming in as a freshman, you know, he helped got my mind right, and you know, let me know what to expect out of practice, and you know, when we got ready to play in the ACC competition. As far as the coaches, Dennis Felton was the guy that really took me under his wing, man. I mean, it was literally to the point where I would tell him to leave me alone, dude. I mean, he saw something in me that I didn't. And looking back, you know, I can see that, but I wasn't stubborn or hard-headed enough not to embrace what it was that he was trying to tell me, or what it was that he was trying to get me to see. So all I did was listen and did exactly what he asked, and it worked out.
That's good.
Yeah. So you guys went to an ACC tournament. You beat North Carolina. You know, you head into the NBA draft. You know, you go as a free agent. You get picked up by what team? Talk about that experience.
Oh yeah.
Well, that year, my senior year, there were 3 camps. There was Portsmouth, there was Phoenix, and there was Chicago. Chicago was the big camp, and for me, I had to go through Portsmouth and Phoenix. So basically, at that point in time, my skill set was what it was, and a lot of teams didn't need to see a whole lot more from me. So I went to Portsmouth, did well at Portsmouth, and then skipped Phoenix and didn't go to Chicago. At that time, there were 2 teams, and 2 defined coaches at that time: George Call and 3. I'm sorry, Jerry Sloan with the Jazz, and then there was Pat Riley with the Heat. Like, you know, they believed in that tough guy type of play, and you know, they would just wear you down physically. So those 3 teams were highly interested, and Miami told my agent that if they didn't take me in the first round with their second pick, that they were going to bring me in. So I had already had a sure bet. I didn't say anything to anybody, but I knew that I was probably going down to Miami the whole time. So that kind of helped me relax. But I think the most important thing for me during that time was that I was training out in Bloomington, Indiana during the summer. And when I tell you there's nothing out there, there is nothing out there in Bloomington, college town. So I had no choice but to focus. And, some of the other guys that I was training with, when they went to Chicago or Phoenix, I actually stayed there and worked out. And the crazy thing is, I didn't miss a day working out. I worked out 7 days a week. I did something 7 days a week from April until June, right after the draft. So I put that work in.
Yeah. Right.
So what was it like playing with Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway and those guys during that time?
Oh, man.
My first was when I went to Miami, because Alonzo had years on the big contract he signed, and then I had the guys like P.J. Brown, Lance Weatherspoon, that were veterans, and anybody that knows Pat, they Pat loved his veterans. But Lonzo was probably the biggest influence on me during my rookie year, just because of the fact of how hard he worked. And his mindset. He was an animal, man, and even after he got that big contract, he just continued to work even harder, So he took me under his wings, literally took me under his wings, man, and he would literally come at me every day in practice, and I would do the same to him. I wanted to make a name for myself. Listen, I may be a rookie, but you best believe this big country boy right here ain't backing down for nothing.
I'm about to give it to you.
So that's basically, I earned my stripes and earned my reputation by not backing down from anyone. And that's how it was through college and through high school, no matter who it was. I wasn't backing down because basically I see it as, you have something that I want, you're in a place where I want to be. So let's get it.
Yes, sir. So go ahead, KJ.
Yeah. So how did you play overseas?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Man, that was a totally different experience, and the biggest takeaway from that was the fact that I got to experience other cultures, see how other people live, see how they think.
That's right.
And just actually live it versus, seeing it on TV or, what they want us to see on TV. So I was actually in it versus imagining what it could be. I played 7 years in Italy, played in Turkey, played in Lebanon, Germany. So those experiences. Yeah, those.
I touched all the land.
Yeah. Also played in the Ukraine for a hot minute too. So
did a lot of traveling, bro.
When you think about Europe, all of those places are different places. So, it's kind of like going from Miami to South Carolina to Texas to New York to California. All those places are just in itself. Nothing is the same. So Europe gave me a broad perspective when what life is about. Not to mention, and Poland as well. And I won championships everywhere I went. So I got 4 championships over in Europe that I don't talk about or brag about, so to speak, because it wasn't about the championship. I mean, uh, it was just experience in life outside the U.S. and just taking it all in.
Yes, sir. So let's backtrack for 1 second. You left Miami Heat. You went to the Clippers next.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Let's talk
Yep.
about playing under that organization and underneath Donald Sterling and all that.
I mean, what do you want me to say that you don't know already?
I mean, I'm just saying, as far as your teammates, just the camaraderie with you guys, and just playing with the Clippers. Let's talk about that a little bit.
That was an experience because I went from being surrounded by the oldest team in the league to literally the youngest team in the league. That year I went to Los Angeles. I think we averaged like 20 years of age or 21 years of age versus a team like the Heat where you're averaging like 30, 34, something like that, like 30 plus. So mindset, the mentality, how to play. I mean, everything was just different. The city was different. But nevertheless, we had a good team. Darren Miles, Quentin Richardson, Keon Doolin, Tim McGinnis, Michael Oladipo, Elton Brand, those guys was like the first, second year in the league. So they were young, but had a whole bunch of talent. Just won't play in a year. I think it's like maybe a game and a half, 8. So that was nice in itself to see a team that young. Because I was considered a veteran at that point. So having a team that young that just played, and the style up and down.
Can you hear us?
Hey.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you had cut out for a second. But what I was gonna say is,
okay.
You played with a couple players that you played against in the ACC on your Clippers team, right?
Yep.
I forget who it was. Elton Brand, Corey McGay,
Elton Brand, Corey McGay, Jeff Guinness, and the big kid from just our play and how we played.
Harold, if you can hear me, your audio's cutting out a little bit. Okay. Say something. Yeah, you're still a little choppy.
Mm-hmm. Just give us a tour. Give us a tour of the house.
I guess you're gonna log off and come back in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Man.
There he goes. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Can you hear us now?
It's still kind of choppy.
All right. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So you were talking about some of the former ACC opponents that were on your NBA team with the Clippers.
Yeah, I just think that it helped us gel well, just because of the fact that we were familiar how each other played. You know, aside from the plays we were running and the sets that we had, I think that was a big advantage for us because we could just play off each other instead of just running a play, so to speak.
Exactly. It's more of a rhythm thing. I understand.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you played with the Clippers. You left with Cleveland for a little bit. Then you went overseas, just like you said, won a couple FIBA World Championships.
Yeah.
After you retired in 2013, what did you end up doing after that?
Staying home.
Just chilling.
I'm done.
Man, I mean, who knows these guys that played 15, 18 years? Because I was right at that point, you know, playing 14, 15 years. But your body gets tired, and the older you get, the harder it is for you to get in shape and to stay in shape. You know, but not to mention I had missed a lot of time with my kids, and you know, it was time for me to hang them up. I said I wanted to stay until I was 40. I finished just shy of that. So that was the personal goal, but you know, mindset otherwise, and
Your audio. Can you hear us?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Okay, your feed's choppy a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
All right. Let's do this.
There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
So I just went outside.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Go give us a tour, man. MTV Cribs, you know what I'm talking about?
Nah, man. Y'all trying to put me on the spot.
Nah.
So, the thing with retiring was that, you know, my biggest thing was that I missed a lot of time with my kids, especially my oldest one, who is now a junior at Clemson.
And she runs track, correct?
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, she's on the track team. So missing all those years and time with her, and you know, it kind of weighed on my heart a little bit, which was the biggest reason. And then, you know, about a year or two after I retired, I found this company called Lavelle, you know, and the Thrive Experience, and I put my name to it, and that's what I've been doing ever since. So it's been a blessing financially.
Okay.
And you know, offers me time freedom where, you know, I'm not constantly on the road or constantly moving. You know, I can stay home with my kids and you know, really enjoy taking them to school, picking them up from school, you know, just spending that quality time with them, man, and coaching them, you know, without them being coached. So it was a good thing, you know.
Yes, sir. So let the people know where they can follow you at and all your platforms, man. And most definitely, if you have any shout outs you want to give to any former coaches or players, do that. So, you know, do that right now if you can, man.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's too many people to name. But I mean, anybody that had anything to do with the success that I had, you know, I can't say thank you enough. What I can tell you is that I really appreciate you, and you know, the hard work didn't off. So, high school coach Willie Thomas, you college coaches, Larry Shut, NBA coaches, NBA teammates. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, especially Alonzo Warren.
Okay. Shout out to
Alonzo.
Man, I can't thank the big fella enough, man. I really can't. And a big shout out to Chris McGinnis, who's doing big things right now in North Carolina. You know, he's doing good things in North Carolina at the prep school that he's at. He's the head coach, and that's something that I'm doing now as well. You know, I'm coaching at a prep school / post grad down here in Florida.
Okay.
First year program, going into our second year. You know, started rough, but ended up making the top 10 in the state, going to playoffs first year. So, and we're looking to build on that this year. You know, so anybody that, you know, have any kids that's interested in going to prep or, you know, going to post grad, you know, you can follow me on Facebook. My name, Harlod Jamison, or you can follow me on Instagram at the Harlod Jamison. Email is hjamison1976@gmail.com. So, but other than that, man, I just thank God for being alive, and honestly, you know, being able to walk a career, because a lot of guys have things that, you know, they're probably going to suffer with for the rest of their life. I was fortunate not to get hurt my career, so I'm blessed in that area, man.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you coming to the show, and we'd love to have you back, man.
Yes, sir.
Call it Sports Shop 27.
And Alonzo Mourning. Alonzo, tell him, come on, man. What's up? Michael Jordan, come on. All y'all, come on, man. Yeah.
All right. Hey, you just tuned in to another edition of the Sports Shop 27. I'm your host, Jermaine. In the middle, my co-host, Kevin Johnson, KJ. And we'd like to thank today's special guest, former Clemson, LA Clipper, Miami Heat, and Cleveland Cavaliers, Harlod Jamison.
Yeah, man. Good job, man. Good job.
Wear your mask.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Next episode. Later.